purpose, and thanks for dropping by today. Today I'm really excited. I've got Lee Evanson here from Inside Vacations, and about 2-3 weeks ago he sent me an email highlighting some of the power and benefits of the Chelsea Flower Show. And it's not something I would have normally have thought about too much, but I do have a bit of a green finger and I love my garden. So Lee, if I could just cut over to you, I'd like to get you to tell us a little bit about what the Chelsea Flower Show is all about. And by the time we finish this presentation, I'd like to feel that if somebody has even slightest bit of interest in it, at least they'll have an idea of what's available and be a little bit more educated around the opportunities. So let's see how we go, shall we? So Lee, I'll cut back to you, mate.
Excellent. So yeah, John, it's a pleasure to speak to you this morning in regards to the amazing array of itineraries that Insight has got for 2016, which incorporate the really is an extravagant Chelsea Flower Show in London.
Okay, so let's start off, Lee. What's the history of this flower show? Ever since I've been in travel, more than 30 years, we've been sending clients to it. So I gather it must have a really interesting and meaningful history. So would you like to share a little bit about what it's about and why did Chelsea become the home of the flower show?
Well, it's quite incredible, really. The actual event is huge nowadays, and it's actually been running for over 100 years. Chelsea actually became the home of the Royal Chelsea Flower Show back in 1912. And that's where it's been ever since. So it's actually been at the home of Chelsea for over 100 years now. And one of the big reasons why is was a royal request. They thought it was one of the best place for it to showcase the best of the world's flowers and plants. And I actually did a little bit of research into it myself, and I found a couple of posters that are used in the run-up to the Chelsea Flowers Show, and these are plastered across London on YouTube, underground stations and throughout London. And the one on the left there was one of the very first Chelsea Flower Show official posters back in the early 19th century, and the image on the right, the glossier one, if you like, is the one that they used for 2015. So you can see, even though it's got 100 years of history and difference between the posters, it does retain that its unique traditions and also the charm which makes the event so successful.
I wouldn't have picked the difference in the timing of those posters being almost 100 years apart. They'd seem like they're timeless, so to speak. So what are what's the experiences that are on offer for guests? I mean, do you have to really be a flower buff or green finger to the nth degree, or can somebody who just got an interest in something beautiful enjoy this?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, because it's something that I used to ask myself before I took the time to actually look into the flower show itself and the appeal to it. And just looking at the numbers, you can see how successful it is. 157,000 guests attended in 2015 over now, which it is today a 5-day event. Back in the early 19th century, it was only 3 days. And I think it has a huge appeal for everybody, really. You don't have to be a gardening expert to go and enjoy the gardens. I mean, there's so much for guests to go and see. I mean, you can go and see the Great Pavilion, which is there, but it really has a wide range appeal. I mean, these are some images from the gardens for this year. The one on the left is a gardening display that's been put together by I think one of the leading British designers, and it's based on Alice in Wonderland, which got this huge teapot and cupcakes. And then the image on the right is by a world leading designer from the United Arab Emirates, giving it a real Islamic feel to the sort of sense of atmosphere within the garden. So there's so much to see, there's so much to do while you're there. Then I think you can be it attracts all different ages, demographics, and it's just a really nice day out to experience some real British culture.
I'm looking at those pictures, Lee, and I immediately go, my God, I'd had no idea that the contrast, the range of what was available is phenomenal. Those teacups and cupcakes are just out of this world. One of our staff actually just finished up last Friday. She's a cupcake specialist. I've got to make sure she gets to see this, and then the other designs. I mean, it is much more than just going and looking at what would be a typical backyard garden. Well, not really a typical backyard garden, but a garden that's, somebody's given it a lot of love and care. There's way more than this. And you mentioned 157,000 people go through this one place in 5 days.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it's now a 5-day event. When you travel with Insight, we actually have a full day and tickets included to the event as part of the tour. But yeah, it's huge now. It really is. It's become the most popular and the most famous flower show in the whole of the world. It really is a huge event to go and see, and it's definitely one that I think will be on a lot of people's bucket list to actually go and experience.
So enlighten me a little bit, Lee. Is it on a big pavilion, or somebody? Is it a venue in its own right, 24/7, all day, all year round, or where is the Chelsea show? What is it held in? It's not going around to somebody's backyard by the look of it.
No, it's basically a huge site that's split into different areas. One of the main areas that people visit when they go to the flower show is the Great Pavilion, which is seen on this slide here, and that's often described as a riot of different colours and scents, because it's got flowers and plants obviously from all parts of the world, and you can actually buy a whole range of these exotic plants to take with you there as well. And then outside it has not just obviously plants and flowers, it has a whole different array of outdoor living spaces and gardens set up, and you can actually it's like you're being transported from different parts of the world as you walk around the grounds, because you'll see like the UAE style garden before, and then you'll go to somewhere that's obviously more of an oriental theme, and it's just a beautiful way to walk around and just witness some of these breathtaking gardens, and it's very relaxing as well and quite inspiring. I think anyone who's got any sort of interest in gardening will go there and come back totally inspired, and will try and, I'm sure, put some of the ideas and onto their own gardens when they get back.
So what else, Lee, do we need to know about this? I mean, there's obviously a lot of garden related things, but how do you make it into a tour that anyone can enjoy?
Yeah, that's right, John. It is. It's very hard to source tickets, and going back to sort of the atmosphere within the show itself, it really is a unique way to actually go and soak up some of that famous British atmosphere, and there's so much to do there. Going back to that, as well as gardening, I mean, some of the level of food on offer at the Chelsea Flower Show is incredible. You can go from your normal fish and chips to something quite spectacular, like one of the high teas that are on offer. You can see on the image there, and you won't believe the amount of glasses of champagne that get consumed, because everywhere you look, people tend to walk around and relax and have a glass of champagne as they admire the gardens as well. But the actual benefits of traveling with Insight are great. I mean, the tickets sell out every single year, so it's very hard to actually attain tickets for the flower show itself, but when you book it, it's part of an Insight tour, so we actually incorporate these itineraries with a unique customized tour within Europe. You actually get guaranteed tickets included. Also, getting to the flower show can be quite can be quite a bit of a problem if you are doing it independently. The nearest tube station is Sloane Square, and that's at least a 15-minute walk away. When you travel with Insight, of course, you have transfers included, and you actually dropped off at the entrance and then collected at the end of the day from the flower show itself. And something, unfortunately, that we can't guarantee when you travel with Insight is the weather. Being an Englishman myself and having experienced many so-called summers in England, when you do get a rare summer's day, I don't think there's anywhere better, because you have them beautiful late light nights as well. But unfortunately, them days are rare. And so when you travel with Insight, we do know this, and we actually have, if you like, unique beamed umbrellas for the guests to take into the show with them as well. So we offer a little bit of rain protection just in case the heavens are not on our side during the actual day itself.
Yeah, I guess it'd be good to be prepared for that, because there'd be nothing worse than being caught out or carrying umbrellas around when you didn't really want to. But you guys having them in backup would be perfect. So, are you telling me, if I understood that correctly, that you have a separate entrance into the garden show, so you don't end up in big long queues waiting to get in?
It's not a separate entrance. It's just that we actually take out any of the problems actually getting to and from the show. We arrive right at the start, early in the day, to get you in first, and also, of course, you don't have to worry about travelling to and from, because obviously the tube stations, local transport, by a bus, or actually going by train. The nearest train station's Victoria, the tube station's actually Sloane Square. You've got all the added transportation with that, but with Insight, of course, we drop you out right outside the front door, nice and early, so you can get in first and relax and enjoy a full day at the Chelsea Flower Show.
Cool. So, walk me through a day, Lee. Walk me through we get to the show, what time will we get there, and then just give me the rundown of what actually would happen. What would I expect? What would I experience?
So the actual day itself, we tend to get to we'll have breakfast in the hotel, of course, before we leave. We normally use the Thistle Marble Arch, beautiful hotel right in the centre of London. Just had a $2 million refurbishment, but then we leave there nice and early, so you'll probably get to the Chelsea Flower Show normally before 9 o'clock. And then obviously your tickets are included, but we like to we don't try and structure too much of the day for the guests. We like them to actually go and experience it at their own time. Everybody that does the Chelsea Flower Show, I'm sure, will have different sort of interest in what they sort of want to get out of the day, but there's lots to do there. Apart from seeing the gardens, there's workshops. You can actually speak to some of the experts, if you like, the professionals that have flown from all around the world, and get their hints and tips. And it's just a lovely day to actually go around and experience the show. And it's in a really nice part of London. I mean, it's right in the Knightsbridge territory, so you got Harrods on your doorstep. So many different things to see. So we actually pick our guests up at a set time in the evening. If they want to go out and explore more within that part of London, they are more than welcome to do so. And we will there be ready, waiting for them to collect them and take them back to the hotel later on in the day.
Pick out the jewels of each one of those four, just, the best feature of each one, or why that particular tour even exists. Why is it there? Why does it complement the flower show?
Yeah, but the actual Chelsea Flower Show itself is part of 4 uniquely customized itineraries, if you like, that have been designed by our dedicated group team to actually showcase the flower show, but also to give our guests an opportunity to see what Europe really is like in that time of the year, because I think it is a beautiful time of the year to travel to Europe in May. You're going to get springtime throughout the Europe. Europe's going to come to life. So we actually have 4 different itineraries to suit. what we found is, John, doing our research, is so many people when they actually go to visit the Chelsea Flower Show, because these itineraries, by the way, are sold primarily in the Australian market. They're not sold throughout the world. It's primarily designed for the Australian tourists in mind. So we've actually dedicated 4 itineraries to sort of suit what they tend to be doing, or what they would like to do when they're actually over in Europe, because it's such a long way to go just for, if you like, 1 or 2 days. So we actually build in itineraries to match, and we've got 3 18-day itineraries that incorporate, if you like, the springtime within Europe, and they actually go similar sort of routes but different times of them, that May and June period. Now the first one is London to Amsterdam, so it starts with the Chelsea Flower Show first. So we're actually in London for 2 nights, including the Chelsea Flower Show. We then go to Royal Tunbridge Wells to see the gardens there, and then we actually go over into France, and we do a tour within the whole of Europe there, and going to obviously major destinations like Paris, southern France, Dijon, Switzerland, of course. Spend time going to Montreux, Chilean Castle on Geneva, the Swiss Alps, where we have 2 nights, and then all the way up through the Dolomites, and then through Germany before ending in Amsterdam. So that's a good 18-day itinerary that incorporates the flower show first. Now, some of our guests like that, but some guests would like to end in London. So we've actually done the same sort of itinerary, but we flipped it around. So this itinerary, you start in Amsterdam first, and then you actually go out through Europe, and you'll end in London. So it's the same sort of itinerary, but a different route. And this one actually includes the Keukenhof Gardens in Amsterdam, which are supposed to be some of the most amazing gardens within Europe. So it's actually a bit of a bonus if you do this itinerary. You actually get to see incredible gardens in Amsterdam first. The last 18-day one we do, and one of our most popular ones, is the itinerary that starts in Paris. So this one starts in Paris, and again, it cuts all the way through Dijon, the Swiss Alps, before ending in London for the Chelsea Flower Show at the end of the tour. So you've done all your European touring, and then the cream, if you like, on the top of the cake is to end the itinerary in London for the Chelsea Flower Show. Now, last year, we did introduce one more itinerary that incorporates this, and it was our European affairs, because some of the feedback we got from our guests were they wanted to do the Chelsea Flower Show with Insight. They love traveling on the Insight product and the unique selling points that they get when they travel with Insight, the unique experience, they get when they travel with Insight, but they wanted to incorporate with a smaller itinerary. So we brought the European affair out last year. It was very popular, 9 days. It's half the price of the other itineraries, and also incorporates Paris, Amsterdam, and Bruges as well. So it does a smaller, if you like, tour around Northern Europe, and includes the Chelsea Flower Show. So there's 4 itineraries there that will really give the guests what we believe they want to find. And also, John, there's also many other highlights within the itineraries as well, not just the Chelsea Flower Show.
Lee, what is the price of the 9-day tour? That's the half price one. What can people expect to be budgeting for?
Yeah, that's just coming out. I think it's coming out just under $4,000 for the 9-day itinerary. I think it's $3,900, and that obviously includes first-class accommodation, a whole range of experiences, and as well as tickets to the show. And actually, I'll tell you some of the things that you get included within that. I mean, it's not just the Chelsea Flower Show, and I think this is why these tours are so popular. I mean, you get to travel through the Swiss Alps on many of the tours at that time of year in springtime. So you will drive through beautiful lavender fields. The snow obviously is melting away, but you still get to see obviously the top of the mountains, the snowy capped tops of the mountains, which are absolutely spectacular. The tours always include in London, one of the many highlights is a signature evening. These are included on the tours, and we have a Thames dinner river cruise included for the guests. And I think that's brilliant. From my own personal experience, I lived in London for 2 years before I moved to Australia, and I took part in one of the I actually had to go and did one of the river cruise dinners on one of the evenings, and it's just such a relaxing way to cruise up the Thames and to see all them beautiful, amazing sights from the London Eye to the Shard, to of course the Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament. So that is a great experience, which is included as part of the tour. Some of the highlights as well in Paris. A lot of the tours are there for 2 or 3 nights, and we actually include dinner at the top of the Eiffel Tower as well. Another great signature experience included with the Insight tour, as well as you get to travel through the Dolomites on the 18-day tour, which is just spectacular. Wine tasting in Burgundy, and also seeing amazing things like Chilean Castle in Geneva. So the tours themselves have so many experiences included, as well as the Chelsea Flower Show. That is obviously the cherry on the top of the cake, but the some of the other experiences we include are absolutely spectacular too.
I can comment on a couple of things there. One, when you see the city from the river from a boat, it is most incredible. I still remember, like, we did a river cruise, and coming through some of the cities at night time were just phenomenal, and you just wouldn't appreciate what they look like unless you could get into that position of being on a boat cruising at night time. So I have not done the London Thames one, but it is on my list. But the other thing that I suggest to everybody who goes to Paris, I said, you really must go up to Eiffel Tower and have a meal up there. It's kind of like a bucket list thing. It's a little bit ritzy, but there's nothing like the Eiffel Tower in the world, and there's nothing like the view from the Eiffel Tower in the world. So combine it with a luxurious meal, a romantic, even if you've got your partner with you, and you probably couldn't ask for too much more. So a great addition to the Chelsea Flower Show. So lots of highlights. What else do I need to know, Lee? Is there anything else that you would advise me that could help me decide on whether something like this could be worth investigating some more?
As well, one of the many reasons people choose to travel with Insight each year is because we do have certain characteristics or guaranteed experiences, if you like, when you travel with us. And even though this is a unique, customized tour designed for the Australian tourist, we still retain them features, if you like, on this itinerary. So as you travel with Insight, you will have an escorted tour director to take you through the whole of the itinerary, and these really are becoming your true friends. I mean, John, you know, is more than I do how our tour directors can actually make an itinerary. They really do. They can make an itinerary go from a 7 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 every time. They add so much to their itinerary, and they become a friend as well. So, of course,
sorry, I cut across you on that. I do want to add a little bit here.
Yeah.
I can assure you that anybody who does these tours who comes back, the first thing they always comment about is the tour director. I mean, and that's what makes the trip. And it's funny that if you said you were going away, take this tour because the tour director is going to be the highlight of it, most people would say, no way. But when they come back, they're all saying the tour director was the highlight. He made it come alive. He gave it life, excitement, vitality. And so they are critical, and it's great that your ones are so good. And that's why our clients tend to rebook and rebook and rebook, because they just know that the experience is going to be enhanced even more by your tour directors. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you, John. Yeah, it's something we are really proud of. These really do make the itineraries, and of course, when you travel with Insight, as we actually move our guests from one place to the next, we do it in comfort and style. The coach itself is very much like a business class product on an airline, and what I mean by that, in terms of the space and the comfort that we give our guests, is it cannot be matched. I mean, a standard touring coach normally has 53 seats on board. When you travel with Insight, we actually reduce the capacity to a maximum of 40, which means we can give business class legroom on all our coaches. And for anybody who likes to travel in comfort and style, somebody who's used to having that extra legroom, extra window space, and traveling within a smaller group, nobody can really match that experience when you tour through your then with Insight Vacations. And it's one of our, if you like, one of our main assets that we can give to our guests. And nowadays we even have Wi-Fi traveling free of charge for the guests to use on the coach itself, because and the coach is set up in a way so guests can relax. But please, we don't want our guests to feel like they're going to be on the coach all day. When you travel with Insight, our itineraries are set up so the traveling time is minimal. We're only on the coach. You're never on the coach for more than 2 hours at any one time. It's simply a vehicle to get our guests from one destination to the next, but we just make it traveling like very much like business class on a 5-star airline. So yeah, it's a unique product of ours as well that guests can enjoy.
The Wi-Fi on the coaches are very handy, because I can assure you the great majority of our clients have all got iPads and iPhones, certainly iPads, and sending their emails and their photos back to family and friends is important to them, and getting connections in hotels and that can be a fair old hassle. So great idea.
Yeah, and finally, John, it's the hotels that we use as well. I know yourself, Neela, you like to stay in some of the world's leading hotels, and without being pretentious, I mean, I think everybody does. I think everybody likes to look at an itinerary and look at the accommodation where they're going to be staying, and get excited about the hotels, and that's what we include on all our itineraries, from the Pullman Montpass in Paris to all the accommodation through the Chelsea Flower Show. And not only is it's a premium level, but it's also in the heart of the destination as well. So the accommodation that we use will mean that when the guests get the free time to go off and to enjoy, they'll actually be in the heart of the destination. So we build in free time to the itineraries, but because of where they stay, they're not going to have to worry about any more extra transportation or commuting in and out of the city. Everything's going to be within the doorstep of when they stay. So a lot of flexibility and free time on these tours, and also be staying in premium hotels right in the heart of the cities as well.
Excellent. Is there anything else, Lee, that I need to be aware of?
I think that's it, John. I think we've covered most of the bases, to be honest. I just wanted to have the opportunity to speak to yourself, speak to your valued guests and friends, and just tell them, look, if you are interested in any sort of way in gardening, in outdoor lifestyle, if you like, I don't even think you have to be a massively keen gardener, but if you've got an appreciation for the outdoors and for the finer things in life, then the Chelsea Flower Show is definitely for you. And what better way to do it than incorporating a smaller, a longer tour throughout Europe in springtime as well.
Well, thank you, Lee. I really appreciate that, and I know that I'm much better understanding now of what's available and how it all fits together, and more importantly, how it's part of a whole package. So the whole experience, should that be what I'm interested in, is what it's all about. So I appreciate the time and the insight and the research, and not having been to the Chelsea Flower Show or had that experience before, I can assure you it's going to be a lot higher on my to-do list now. So thanks again, Lee, and if
pleasure, thank you.
You're welcome. And if you've got this far on the webinar, thank you, or webcast as I now call it, I appreciate that. And of course, if you need some customized help for ideas or concepts or how this could fit into your possible travel plans, then please give us a call on 1-800-130 635, or send us an email to john@travelwithpurpose.com.au, and we're more than happy to see if we can work for you. I know one thing, and I can promise you this, there's no way at this point that we have any idea at all whether we'll be a good fit for each other. What I do know is that we'll do everything we can to ensure that we give you the best advice that we can come up with to ensure that you get to have the experience that you were looking for, and some. So this is John Spark and Lee Evans from Inside Vacations and Travel with Purpose saying thank you for joining us today. Much appreciated. Have a great day.